Okay, welcome everybody. So I'd love for you to have whatever props are available to you. We're getting pretty close to a new moon, so I want to do a couple sort of yin restorative poses, just keep it nice and chill. So I'd actually like to start with a bolster if you have one. And I want to do the beach chair restorative pose, which some of you know. So to come into this particular pose, in an ideal world, you would have a block or two blocks bricks, I guess I should say, and then your bolster would lay on that so it creates a little ramp. If you don't have a bolster, you could do this with a pillow or cushion. You could put a block just between your shoulder blades for a little bit of gentle heart opening, excuse me. If you have plenty of props, you could have soles of the feet together, knees open wide, and then put similarly sized props underneath your outer hips. You can also just have your legs long. And if this pose doesn't work for you for whatever reason, feel free to lay down with your knees bent. Feel free to take child's pose if that's more your pace. We're just going to do a nice centering, kind of relaxing pose to start. So just kind of settling in, adjusting your shoulders. Don't be afraid to do some sort of fidgeting and even stretching if you want. You could take some deeper breaths and just kind of notice what your breath feels like right now. And settling your body into the earth, into the land. Giving yourself a chance to notice how you feel physically and maybe emotionally. And as I mentioned, we're just a couple of days off from the new moon. I believe it's Saturday that it starts, or that it happens, the new moon itself. And so we're in that sort of dark phase of the moon. And I actually saw a very, very slight crescent of moon last night, which was really beautiful. So as we're in this sort of dark part of the moon cycle, the invitation is to slow down and rest. To set our intentions for the coming moon cycle, or maybe you're beginning a new cycle in some other kind of way. And you can think a little further ahead if that resonates for you. But the thing about the new moon is that it's really a good time to be sort of dreaming, imagining, intending, but it's not a time to do anything about that quite yet. We wait till the waxing moon starts to really take action. So if you have been feeling kind of this draw to like slow down, to rest, it can really serve us in the course of our cycle to allow for that, to give ourselves permission to do that. And here we are doing that, giving ourselves a chance to be in the quiet. And if it feels right, maybe we could take the next few moments to dream, to wish, to intend, to want. You're welcome to stay here if this shape is working for you. Okay, otherwise we'll start to invite a little bit of movement, and I've been really enjoying just working with intuitive movement. So that's nice and gentle. You can keep the eyes closed and just kind of allow the body to move in the ways that it wants to. And I'll give some suggestions. Not everybody is as comfortable with sort of moving intuitively, so that's fine. So as an example, you could reach your arms up over your head and take a nice stretch. You could bend up your knees so that the feet are about as wide as the mat and wash the knees from side to side like windshield wipers. You could roll off to one side and then think about cat and cow. That could be done in a seat or on your hands and knees. So you could crawl yourself up to either of those places and just move along the spine. And that could be inhaling to a little back bend, exhaling to round. It could also be moving side to side, making circles. And again, if you can keep your eyes closed, what that does is it invites the attention inward rather than outward. So you have a chance to kind of feel rather than think, which there's value in feeling. There's value in thinking too, but sometimes thinking gets in the way of feeling. And sometimes feeling is what we need to do. Beautiful. So from here, I'm going to take Anahatasana. So I'm going to tuck my toes under and widen my knees a little bit. And I'm on hands and knees here. Then walk the fingertips forward and the bum is just behind the hips, melting the heart down towards the earth. Your forehead can come down or your head can be floating. And if it feels good, you could rock your head a little from side to side, or sorry, your chest from side to side a little bit. And then let's travel from here all the way to our bellies. And if you're not on your belly today, you could do this in a seat or you could work in cat and cow. Let's take some nice simple cobras. So you can point the toes behind you, take your arms in sort of roughly a cactus shape, press the tops of the feet down, kneecaps lift. You want to engage your glutes here, pubic bone presses down, and then inhale and lift your heart up. The elbows can lift a little bit as well. And as you exhale, come down. So just nice and simple, rise and fall. And if you're seated here, you could be doing cactus arms on your exhale to open your chest. And just try to keep the lower body nice and steady. And as you rise, think of the torso kind of lengthening, stretching long. Let's take one more and maybe hold this one. Long neck, shoulders down the back, long belly. And then release and rest. Let the heels drop apart. You could take your forehead or chin to the ground, or one cheek works as well. And either be still or wobble your hips from side to side. Okay, from here, let's take our fingertips to the earth, just a little wider than the mat and a little ahead. So a slightly different shape here, elbows lifted. Point the toes again, pubic bone presses down. Similar idea, lifting the chest as you inhale, and as you exhale, come down. Lifting the chest, elbows and shoulders back, and the elbows sort of start to get a little lower as you come up. And then we can add a twist, so rising up, and then you can look to the right and dip your left shoulder. Come up through center, look to the left and dip your right shoulder. So try to keep your pelvis and belly really nice and steady through this. Just moving side to side a couple times. I'm just going to my last side here. And then up through center, come on down and rest. Again, you can let the heels fall apart and just relax. Excuse me. You can also wobble the hips side to side if you want to. Good. Okay. From here, I'd love for you to bend your left leg. Reach back behind you with your left hand and hold on to the foot. And you can keep your chest down. Straighten your right leg, press the pubic bone down. Flare your toes into your hand into your toes until you get that lovely, juicy quadricep stretch. And then when you're ready, release that and we'll switch sides, bending the right leg, reaching back and holding the right foot. And then just sort of strong and straight through the left leg, pubic bone presses down, foot and hand just resisting each other a little bit, breathing into that quadricep stretch. Nice. Let's gently let that go when you're ready. And once again, come to rest, maybe wobbling the hips side to side. Good. Okay, let's roll over onto one side. So I'm on my left side here. You can rest your head in your hand or on your arm, or you could have your head on a pillow and the arm out in front of you. And your knees are going to be just together, bent, a little down from your hips. So not straight forward, but down. We'll just do a couple of these, nice and simple. Let's start with the toes flared. We're going to open the legs like a book, and then we're going to lift up the foot. So the foot meets the knee in the sky, and then bring down the knee, and then bring down the foot. Yeah. And then open the knee, lift the foot, and then the knee comes down, and then the foot comes down. You can do this with your breath. So you'd be inhaling knee, keep inhaling foot, and then exhaling knee comes down and continuing your exhale foot. Okay, try to keep your hips nice and steady, your core engaged. Doesn't have to be a huge engagement, but we just want to keep the hips nice and steady. My hip likes to lean back a little bit, which kind of helps me avoid the work. So I want to just double check that my hips are stacked, and I could put my top hand there just to kind of feel. Let's just do 2 more. Good, and then take a rest. You can take your soft fist of your top hand and just gently pad out the outer hip, especially if you feel like there's any areas that are kind of seizing up or freaking out doing that. Okay, and then we're gonna do one more outer hip exercise. This is really, really helpful for supporting the lower back, among other things. And this is a nice, powerful one. You can kind of adjust it for what works for you. So we're going to straighten out the top leg. Okay, I've got the foot flexed here and I want to turn the toes just slightly down. So there's a little bit of an internal rotation of the leg. And then I'm going to send the heel back and up towards the sky. And how far up is up to you. Then I'm going to bring the leg down and forward in front of me. And again, how far forward is up to you. The farther forward you go, the harder it's going to be. And then I lift the foot. So I'm making a big U shape. Okay, the wider the U, the more intense this is going to be, and also the higher. More intense isn't better. It's just finding that place for you where you feel like you're getting some work, but you're not feeling stressed. And as for the breath, you can kind of inhale as the leg goes up and exhale as you're transitioning. Gentle engagement through the core. Try to make sure your hips aren't moving around, just your leg. Just got one more to go. Ooh, nice job. And then when that's complete for you, again, you can relax. You can take that soft fist and just gently pad out. And then I'll invite you to take that top leg and place the foot in front of your other thigh so that the knee points up to the sky, kind of like a shark's fin. You can stay here, especially if you're already feeling a stretch, or you can come into a little bit of a twist, allowing your shoulders to release towards the earth. So I've got my right hand coming over to the right, and I'm gently pressing my knee away from my face with my left hand. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, this one is just like, woo, it gets in there. So I'm being quite gentle with it. I'm allowing the knee to come in a little bit towards my face. I'm not overdoing it. My muscles can go pretty far in a lot of different poses, but something about this one, it just gets right into that spot for me. And then you can gently release that, allowing the knee to come down, the knees can come together, and then you can take a more classic twist here, if that's comfortable for you, allowing the right arm to open to the right again, or whatever your top shoulder is, and just knees simply stacked here. Awesome. Okay, let's find our way to the second side. So you can return to laying on your side, you can roll over to your other side, you can flip, sort of whatever works for you, so that you end up laying on your right side. You want your neck in line with the rest of your spine, so it's just nice and neutral. So your arm would be as well if you've got your head supported in your hand like this. Knees are together, slightly pointed down from the hips, flaring the toes. When you're ready, inhale, lift the knee like you're opening a book, then the foot follows. The knees come together, and then the feet come together. Lifting the knee, the foot, and the knee comes down, and then the foot does. Yeah. This is an exercise that I did a lot when I was in my later pregnancy and had really bad sciatic pain. I found that this exercise was really, really helpful for just getting those outer hip muscles to help me stabilize my sacrum so that I could feel better. So this was a bit of a magic one for me. Nice deep breaths here. And you might want to acknowledge that the second side is often harder because we've already fatigued the leg that is now stabilizing. Last two. Awesome. And then rest. You can take your soft fist and gently pad out that hip. Okay, last one of these. You guys are doing great. So we're going to straighten out that top leg. Flex the foot, slightly turn the toes down. So the idea is that you're working from kind of the outer back of your hip as opposed to the hip flexor, okay, which is the front. So when you're ready, take the heel a little bit back behind you and up to the sky. Lower it down, bring the leg forward any amount, and then lift it up. Oh my gosh, this side is so much harder for me. Aiming for about 6 of these, which is plenty. Take your time, and again, you can modulate for yourself. So you can go a little bit lower, a little bit of a narrower U shape. Keep your breath nice and long. Again, you can inhale as the leg goes up and exhale as you're transitioning. Last 2, though I'm really bad at counting and talking at the same time. So if your count is different, that's okay. I think I usually get it right, my intuitive counting. And then we'll rest and take that soft fist and gently pad out the outer hip. Good. And then we'll place the top foot in front of the other thigh. And you can stay here, especially if you're already feeling that stretch kind of in that outer hip area, or you can roll into a little bit of a twist. Letting that top shoulder roll down and just being gentle with the hip. So again, I don't know about you guys, but for me, this is a pretty intense one. So I can intensify it by pushing the knee away from my face. I don't need that. If anything, I want to bring it in a little bit. Definitely feeling even more intense on this side. And we'll have other ways to open the hips, so don't worry. If this one isn't working for you, we have other ones coming. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can gently return to your side and stack your knees and then come into a little bit more of a classic twist, which does slightly open the hips. It's not known as a hip opener, but you do get a little bit of that outer hip release in the simple twist. Beautiful. And then we're going to make our way from here onto our back. So you could roll to your side again and kind of adjust, or you can roll right onto your back from where you are if that works for you. Let's take a moment to hug the knees into the chest and rock a little bit from side to side, just kind of loosening up after all of that work we did in the outer hips. We are going to do a little bit of core work as well, sort of for the abdominals, but we want to go really sort of deep inside into those stabilizer muscles. And there are a couple of ways that we can do that that are kind of sweet. And if you do have one of these foam bricks, this is quite handy for this. You could also use, there's a way of doing this with a dowel actually behind your knees. You could do it with a brick between your knees. So just kind of anything that you can hold on to help stabilize between your knees. Okay, so I'm just going to use this this brick, and it could be between, or again, I could actually just put it behind my knees like this. Either of those will work. I think I'm going to go between the knees because I want to have a little bit of squeezing in action going here. Okay, so the feet are off the floor and the block or whatever it is probably in between your knees. Take a moment to inhale, and as you exhale, just kind of gather your abdominal muscles in. And actually, let's start with the head on the ground. So you can place your hands down beside your hips. And then we're just going to move the knees away from the face, and then we're going to make a little semicircle. So the knees are going to go to the right and then up towards the face, down along the right, across to the left, and then up along the left side. So it's making like a little semicircle or smile shape. And just going nice and slow and keeping that block or whatever it is steady between the knees so they're not sliding around. And I like this one because it's definitely a core exercise. You can kind of feel the work in the abdomen, but it's also almost a bit of a massage for the sacrum. Okay, so as for matching the breath here, it might work for you to have the exhale as the knees are drawing in toward you. And inhale as the knees move away. You could do it the opposite way too, but as the belly's compressing, it tends to be a little bit easier to exhale. Okay, let's just do a couple more like that. You might notice, as I am on the new moon, that I don't have as much energy or strength as other times, so we can be pretty gentle with this one. Okay, when that feels complete for you, you can relax. Maybe take the block down beside you, soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Okay. And I want to offer just one more core exercise because it's so beneficial. And then we'll move on from there and we'll stretch it out a little bit. So yeah, just so you know, that's where we're going. So you can place the prop exactly where it was a moment ago. So you can draw the knees in and just place it sort of between your knees. So you've got that little bit of a squeeze on it. Activate the feet. And this time, let's try, if you're comfortable, interlacing the fingers around behind the back of the head and lifting the shoulder blades up. You don't have to do that. It's just going to add some muscles to this. And then lift your feet up a little bit. Gather that belly in. Inhale. And as you exhale, the feet are going to go towards the floor. You might even tap them, but don't lose your lower back, okay? And then as you exhale, the knees are just going to come in. Inhale, the feet come down, squeeze those inner knees, maybe a little bit of a tap or near the ground, and then drawing in. Okay, optionally, as the knees come in, you can add a little bit of a curl of the spine. Gentle. Keep that belly button drawing in the whole time. This is the last core exercise. Okay, we're going to try for 3 more. Try to relax the jaw. 2. Last one. Nice work, you guys. And rest. Soles of the feet can come together, knees open wide, or knees together, feet wide, or happy baby if you like. Just take a moment to rest, to breathe down into your belly, to feel that work. And I would say core work is something that I would have avoided at all costs when I first started doing my practice, but you know, I've realized just how good it makes me feel in general in my life, even if in the moment it's kind of challenging. Not only does it help with things like lower back happiness and other things, it also helps you to feel a little more stable, a little more strong kind of in your center. It has a really nice energetic resonance. So I'm just washing my knees from side to side a couple of times. We're going to do a nice stretch for the hip flexors in a moment. Okay, when you're ready, bring your knees to center if you're doing the windshield wipers, and then find ideally a brick if you have one. But it would work with a bolster too, or pretty much anything underneath your hips. And we're going to elevate the hips a little bit. We'll do our lovely psoas stretch. Okay. So the brick goes right underneath the sacrum. So it's that bony ridge at the back of the pelvis. So it's not to create a back bend with your spine. It's an inversion. So you're lifting the pelvis up a little bit. This can be done with a lower prop, whatever you have. And if there's any pain in your back, you can also do it with nothing, just hips on the ground. That's fine. Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and take your left knee in your interlaced fingers and extend the right leg forward so that it goes straight. Hug your knee a little wide towards your armpit. Flex your right foot and push forward through the heel. Breathe into your belly. Take your time with this one. A lot of us tend to be quite tight in this area, so as in quad. It's gonna be a really sweet one to let it go. Beautiful. And then we'll switch sides. And I usually like to just step one foot to the floor and then the other and pause for a breath or so just to kind of reset. And then we'll do the other side. So the right knee can come in, left leg can go out long, flexing the foot. Nice deep breaths. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll step one foot to the earth and then the other. And I'd love to take just a little rest here. That was quite a bit of stabilizing work that we did through the whole torso. So you can stay right here if this is comfortable for you. I'm on my brick and I'm going to try it on its second to highest height. So I'm going to lift my hips up and take the brick onto its second highest height. So it's just a little bit more of an inversion for me. And I like to tilt it slightly forward so that the pelvis is even more a little tilted up to the sky. That's not something I'm doing muscularly, but I want to kind of allow the tailbone to slightly tilt up. My feet are pretty wide. Sometimes I like to let the knees fall in. Sometimes I like to let them stay just right where they are. Hands could be on the belly. Some people like arms up over the head here. So this is, again, a little bit of a passive stretch for the psoas. And all I want you to think about for a few breaths is just relaxed breath into the belly, receiving the pose. Softening, softening. Take another breath or two here. In your own time, you can gently lift the hips up, slide your prop out from underneath you. You may feel the urge to hug your knees in or straighten your legs out like Shavasana. Those are both good options. So whichever feels most right for you, take that. Just to give your body a chance to receive all of that work that we did. Mini Shavasana, we're not quite done. Okay. And then when you're ready, let's make our way back to our hands and our knees. And I'm just going to take my socks off because I know I'm going to need my feet at the moment. So if you still have your socks on too, you can remove them. And then let's return to our hands and our knees and our cat and cow. And it may just feel a little bit different now after all of that work that we did on the floor. So inhaling into that back bend, exhaling to round. Maybe circling. And let's take downward facing dog. So you can walk your hands a little bit farther forward, maybe a little wider. Tuck the toes and press your hips up. And then soften the elbows and hug them towards you a little bit. And you can bend one knee at a time. You can sway your hips. You can also work in stillness. Just kind of working the weight of the hips back towards the legs. And then feet to the hands, coming into standing forward bend. You can rest your elbows on your bent knees here. You can hold opposite elbows and hang down. You can have your fingertips on the earth or blocks. And then let's slowly roll up. Take as many breaths as you need. You can bend your knees, lean your heels, lean your weight back into your heels, gather in your belly and slowly curl, letting your head and shoulders come up last. If that doesn't work for you, you can walk your hands up your legs or come up however feels best in your body. Eventually letting your shoulders settle onto your back and taking a few moments in your standing pose, your Tadasana. Okay. So I'd like to take the moon salutation, which is a sequence that I do before bed sometimes. It's really nice when you want to kind of move, but you want to keep your nervous system relatively calm. So it's an excellent one to do anytime, but the new moon is an especially nice time to do it. And I know that most of you guys have some familiarity with this sequence. So we're going to stand up. I'll mirror you for this part. I'll do my best. You're going to stand up at the right edge of your mat. So your mat is out on your left and you're facing the long edge. Okay, soften the knees. I've got my toes kind of together. They could be together or hips distance apart. I'm going to reach the arms up and you can interlace the fingers except for the first one. And then as you exhale, curve toward your mat. Inhale through center and then curve away. Inhale through center and then step your left foot out and turn your toes out a little bit, coming through goddess pose. So you bend the elbows and the knees. And then straighten your legs and turn your toes to the left, coming into triangle, bringing the fingertips to the shin, right arm up to the sky. Let's inhale here. And as you exhale, we'll come into pyramid. So you're going to look down, bring your hands to either side of your front foot. And I'd recommend just stepping your back foot a little bit wider to the side. You can turn the toes in a little bit as well. And then we'll take a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. And let's just stay for an extra breath as we're kind of warming into the sequence. Okay, and then next time you exhale, we're going to prepare for a lunge. So classically it's low lunge, but you could do high lunge as well, especially if you have any knee issues. And then as you inhale, rise up. And again, let's just stay for a moment as we're kind of working into the sequence. So hips a little bit forward, nice and long through the sides of the waist. And then as you exhale, we're going to come into either side angle if your back knee is lifted, or a half squat if you're down towards the floor. So half squat looks like this. You would come onto the left ball of the foot, right leg goes out long. Classically, the inhale, you bring your hands to your heart, but I like to do this to have my left fingertips in front of my thigh and reach the right arm up. Okay, next we're going to come into a squat or wide-legged forward fold. So a symmetrical pose towards the sort of center line of your mat. Yeah, and if you're in wide-legged forward fold, your feet are parallel. If you're in squat, they're a little turned out. Okay, inhale and exhale. Good, inhale. And then as you exhale, prepare for half squat or side angle on the other side. So reaching your hands over towards the right. Left leg goes out long, hands could come to the heart, or you could reach the left arm up to the sky. And I'll show the side angle variation as well in a moment. And then on the exhale, we're going to transition towards lunge. So if you're low, your back knee comes down, you might just need to kind of adjust where your legs are. That's it. And then rising up. Good, and let's stay here just for a moment. Just kind of warming into the pose. Okay, and then inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to come into pyramid, everybody. So hands come down, the back foot can step in a little bit and the toes slightly out, both legs straightening. And then you can take a halfway lift as you inhale. And I'd love for you to stay as you exhale. And let's do one more breath here. Staying on the exhale. Now the inhale, we're going to transition into triangle. So you might need to step your back foot back a little bit and turn the toes slightly out. Climb your right hand up your leg. The left arm goes up to the sky. Good. Inhale, stay as you exhale. We're going to use the inhale to come up through a transition pose called star. So the toes turn out, hands come together, and then we bend the knees and the elbows. We're back in goddess. Okay, and then we're going to step up to the left edge of the mat. That's it. Reaching the arms up to the sky. We're in the new moon of the sequence right now. And then curve toward the mat. Inhale through center and curve away from the mat. Up through center, and then we're going to step the right foot out. So technically through star, the exhale is goddess. Nice. And then we'll straighten both legs and we're turning to the right for triangle. So right leg in front for triangle. That's it. Okay, inhale here, exhale to pyramid pose. So the hands come down, back foot may need to step in and a little wide. You're absolutely welcome to use your blocks. Okay, let's inhale. Stay as you exhale. Stay as you inhale. And then your exhale is going to be a preparation to your lunge, high or low. So if you're doing high lunge, I'm just keeping my knee a little bent here. And then on the inhale, rising up. That's it. Stay as you exhale. Just as we're getting used to the sequence, inhale. And then on the exhale, half squat or side angle. So your heel would come down, elbow to thigh, and then your left arm would go sort of up for half squat or over your ear for side angle. Awesome. Inhaling, and then on your exhale, come to either full squat or wide-legged forward fold. So the feet parallel and you're coming down. Stay here as you inhale. Stay as you exhale. Okay, inhale again. And as you exhale, we're going to prepare for a side angle or half squat on the other side, so towards the left. Inhale, fill up the pose. Good, stay as you exhale. Inhale, And then your exhale is a preparation towards your lunge. So from side angle, I like to take that top arm and sweep it as I bend the back leg. And then I use my inhale to come up. That's it. Good. Stay as you exhale. Inhale again. And then pyramid. The hands come down, back foot comes in a little. Same pose for everybody again now. Lengthen. And fold. Okay, on your inhale, triangle. So step that back foot back a little. Left hand comes up the shin, right arm to the sky. Really nice. Stay as you exhale. Inhale, rising up through star pose, so the toes turn out. Exhale to your goddess. And then we're going to step back up to the side of the mat where we started. Yeah. Reaching the arms up. Curve toward the mat. Up through center and curve away. These are sometimes called half moons, side bends. Up through center and bring your hands to your heart. Take a moment just to receive, to breathe, to feel. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to do that sequence one more time, the whole thing, but we're going to do it breath by breath. So we're not going to hold the poses. So it's going to be a little bit faster, but I don't want you to speed through. Keep your breath nice and steady and even, but we'll be really flowing. Okay. Get your blocks ready if you're using them. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, curve toward your mat. Inhale, center. Exhale, curve away. Inhale, center. Exhale, step out on your mat. Turn the toes out, goddess pose. Inhale, straighten the legs, turn the toes to the left, triangle. Inhale here. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, stay. Exhale, prepare for your lunge, high or low. And then inhale, rise up into it. Exhale, side angle, bring the elbow to the thigh, or half squat, sorry. Bicep alongside the ear. Right away, exhale, wide-legged forward fold or full squat. Stay here as you inhale. Stay as you exhale. Stay as you inhale, and then as you exhale, prepare for side angle or half squat. Fill it up as you inhale. And then exhale, prepare for your lunge, bending the back knee. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, pyramid pose, hands come down, step that back foot in a little, both legs straighten. Lengthen as you inhale. Stay as you exhale. Inhale is triangle, step that back foot back a little bit, left arm to the sky. Stay as you exhale. Inhale, rise up through star pose. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, step up to the left edge of your mat. Reach up. Nice, curve toward your mat. Up through center. Curve away. Up through center. Step your right foot out. Bend your knees and elbows. Straighten the legs, triangle to the right. Stay as you inhale. Exhale, pyramid, hands come down. Inhale. And as you exhale, prepare for your high or low lunge. Inhale to rise. Exhale, side angle or half squat. And then inhale, fill up the pose. Exhale, full squat or wide-legged forward fold. Inhale here. Stay as you exhale. Stay as you inhale. And then as you exhale, half squat or side angle towards the left. Fill up the pose as you inhale. Exhale, prepare for your lunge, high or low. Inhale. Exhale, pyramid. Stay as you inhale and stay as you exhale. Use your inhale to transition into triangle, right arm up. Stay as you exhale. Inhale, everything goes up into star pose. Exhale, bend knees and elbows. Inhale, step up to the top of your mat, reach up. Curve toward your mat. Up through center, curve away. Up through center, hands to your heart. Take a moment to feel, to receive that. Beautiful, everybody. Okay, so what I'd love to do from here is move towards legs up the wall if you have a wall available. We're gonna do a little hip opening against the wall and then we'll rest there, okay? So if you're comfortable in legs up the wall, that's great. If you don't have a wall, don't worry about it. You can just lay down on your mat. If you do have a wall, I would like for you to have a prop nearby that you can put your bum on later, not quite right away, but the bolster is good for that. Actually, I think I'll probably use the bolster. This thingy, the foam block would be good for that too. Not everybody likes that, but just have it close by in case you need it. And then I bring one hip to touch the wall, lay down on my side, bring the bum closer, and then roll up. Now, having done all that work to get nice and close to the wall, you might find you need to move away from it in a moment because we're going to do a brief thread the needle against the wall. If you don't have a wall, you're just laying on your back, knees bent. So that's perfect. Then you're going to take your right ankle to your left thigh, bend the left leg until you feel a nice stretch in the right outer hip. If you're against the wall, you can probably have your hands bracing the leg. I've got my right hand kind of resting on my right thigh. And if you find your bum is curling up away from the wall, move further away, okay? If you're in thread the needle, you can hold the back of the left leg with your interlaced fingers or a strap. Keep your right foot flexed. And in either case, some of you may like a little rocking from side to side, others may want to be still. And then we'll gently release the legs. I usually like to send them up towards the sky and give them a little shake or wobble. And then take your left ankle to your right thigh and bend the right leg until you feel a stretch that works for you. Keep the left foot gently flexed. The two sides may be different. Again, if your bum is peeling off the wall, or off the floor rather, and you're at the wall, just move a little farther away. When you're ready, gently release that. You can give your legs another little wobble. And then we'll settle against the wall. So you might need to wiggle a little closer to the wall. You might need to roll to your side to get closer, or you might be happy where you are, and that's fine. Okay. And then I want to take legs up the wall kind of as our Shavasana. So if it doesn't work for you, if you don't have a wall, feel free to set up in Shavasana instead. Maybe placing a prop under your bum if that felt good when we did it as supported bridge earlier, or underneath your thighs, which is a little bit more classic for Shavasana. If you're at the wall with me, you can slide your prop underneath your bum and just play with it a little bit. Sometimes it's nice to have it a bit more into the lower back. Sometimes it's nice to have it a little closer to the bum. It just puts your spine in a little bit of a different orientation, and your body should hopefully tell you which one is right for you right now. You could also add other restorative props like an eye pillow over your eyes, or a blanket could go over your feet or over your belly. And of course, time flies when we're having fun. So this will stand in for our Shavasana. So adjust as you need to, get as comfortable as is possible for you right now. And if that needs to change at any point, don't be afraid to change it. We'll just rest here for a few minutes, receiving the work of our practice. So if you have the time and you want to stay here, please stay. If you're feeling ready to make your way out of your resting shape, you can take a deeper breath and gently begin to move your toes and fingers. You can draw your knees in towards your chest and softly roll to one side. And maybe stay there for a moment. And in your own time, you can make your way up to a seat and place your hands over top of your heart or together at your heart or wherever feels most right today. And I'll just invite you to take a moment to consider again an intention, a hope, a dream, a wish, a desire for the new moon. And take a moment to honor and acknowledge whatever it took for you to get here to your practice today. To honor and acknowledge the long and complex lineage of teachers that is with us in our yoga practice. To honor and acknowledge the sacredness of the land. Thank you for sharing that practice with me.